defense in the regular season, and I think the third period the other night was just a great example of team defense and what you guys can do when, I mean, it does take a lot of commitment.
Yeah, I think it's it's obviously very important against this group. Shot in the first game and the second. They can come back in games and score at will. So, it's very important for our group to be consistent and play good defense.
How much does 82 games help you get ready for this? Because it does seem like it's elevated now.
I mean, I think every team wants to, keep getting better over the course of 82 and be in fine form for situations like this. And we worked hard at it this year. And we've learned through the first round and the first couple of games here that it's important. I mean, you got to play, great defense to win these games.
Both Pete and Jared talked this morning after the other series about the intelligence and being able to walk the line of physicality and not go over it. How important is it? Do you guys talk about it, or is it just understood?
I think when you look at their power play and what they've done over the course of the year in the first round, you got to stay out of the box. It's keep taking penalties. It's going to cost you in the end, and it's important for our group to play hard, play the right way, but don't cross that line.
In terms of momentum, Jamie, you guys were down 0-2, came back from that in the first round. How much can you look back to your own history to know this thing's not over?
Yeah. It's not over till one team wins four, so taking it a game at a time here, and we got a great opportunity in front of us.
And when it comes to anticipating their adjustments, what is that process like of feeling that out early in a game like tonight?
Every game is it's a chess match, and you make your adjustments throughout the game and after games, and you go into a new game with a game plan, and then that could change pretty quick. So we're going to try and get out to a good start again here tonight and see where that takes us.
Hey, Jamie, you're a little late. You're going to have some AHL players come up here soon just to kind of watch and observe, see what be a part of playoff hockey. Were you ever a Black Ace, and did that help you at all? I mean, does it prepare you at all for playoffs later on down your career?
I was never a Black Ace early on. We didn't make the playoffs, so I think it's great for these kids to see kind of what we go through here during playoff time. Obviously the best time of the year, and the more these young kids can learn, the better.
You were a big part in the bubble, and now we're looking at 4 or 5 of these guys really having an impact. Now, how important was that for them to be around for 2 months and watch it all?
Yeah, it's pretty big, I think. Even when you're not playing, you can learn. And when you're watching up top, game looks pretty easy sometimes. So I think it's helped some of the players that we have here on this roster today. With their games and kind of seeing that firsthand.
A great example of just how good team defense you guys can play.
Yeah, I think, obviously, the urgency and kind of, having that, I guess, a little bit of, extra urgency and desperation come playoff time. I think that, definitely makes, a difference just, laying the money on the line when you need to, blocking a shot, or just kind of that attention to detail. It seems to be, better in playoffs, and it's so important to be able to close out games come playoff time.
Is it something that's natural to this team? It seems like it's been built with good defensive forwards, and I think that's a key to, obviously you're going to have good defensive defensemen, but having all those forwards buy in and block the shots, do everything.
Yeah, anyone can be out there in the last couple minutes of the game, which I think makes it really great for us. Just when we're playing with the league and lead and need to defend the lead in the last couple of minutes. I think it's great. Yeah, everyone's bought in. Everyone's knows what their job is when they're out there, and then it comes down to just kind of that desperation and just kind of doing whatever needs to be done.
penalty kill has been great, but you guys did commit 5 penalties in the first period last game. What's the key to staying disciplined?
What would you say to
I mean, it's just, making sure, we're checking with our legs and not, I guess, not reaching in. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember offhand all the penalties you took, but yeah, I think it's, just having that discipline. I think there's, I think that's the best word to describe it, just having that discipline and making sure, yeah, you're checking with your legs and not, reaching or, kind of doing any of that stuff that can, get you in trouble.
And given how strong your power play has been this season, how important is that?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's you don't want to put a team like that on the power play with all the great players they have and how they're able to make plays in the power play. So yeah, I mean, it's really important to stay out of the box, and then that also, I mean, it can kind of kill your momentum if you're playing well and then you take a penalty and then they get some kind of momentum back from that with even if they don't score, just kind of generate some chances playing in your end. And I think it's really important just kind of for all parts of our game.
That was a big part of your identity in junior high, even in international play and everything. How important is it now that you're doing it in the NHL? It's almost, you have to earn that spot, but now it seems like it's at the highest level.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's really important to me being able to be good in both ends of the ice, and yeah, penalty killing has always been something that I've wanted to do, and I've had a chance to be put in those positions. So I mean, it's so important. You see, can kind of make or break series, make or break games, especially in playoff time. So it's so important to make sure you're doing the right things and making sure I'm doing my best job to help get the kills.
Is it as satisfying as scoring a goal a lot of times? I mean, you're shutting down some top-notch NHL players here.
Yeah, I mean, when we get a good kill, I mean, it feels really good. I think it not only obviously protects us from letting in a goal, but I mean, I think it can really build momentum if we have a great kill and that we don't really give them a whole lot. I think that can just give us energy. So yeah, I mean, it definitely feels good when you're able to get the kill, especially how important it is in playoff time.
How can you sense on the other side any frustration from them when you make those kills?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously if you're able to kill off a bunch of penalties and or even just not even do our best when you don't let them get into their zone, don't really let them set up, I think that can definitely bring some frustration. I know on the other end of it, when when we're on the power play and they're doing a great job of not letting us set up and get into the zone, it's definitely frustrating. And as mentioned, it can kind of build momentum going the other way when you have a good strong kill.
Through most of this postseason, your team has been accustomed to fighting from behind or playing with an even series. Now you have an early series lead. Has there been a talking point about that the last 48 hours?
Yeah, obviously, we know what the score is in the series, and yeah, I mean, it's just the important part is to not really look at what the score is in the series. Just focus on tonight, and yeah, I mean, the best thing we can do tonight is get a win tonight. So obviously, it's good to know that you're in that situation, but I think that shouldn't change anything in the way we play. We need to still have that desperation and play our best game to get the win tonight.
You and Logan have a great relationship. How was it when he was not scoring goals, and then how was it when he gets a couple?
Yeah, it's awesome. He's been amazing. I mean, it's crazy how I don't know exactly how many games, but it's crazy how kind of fast that can go by. He's been playing awesome, making really good plays, getting a lot of chances, and yeah, I mean, I'm so happy for him, and I mean, he's a huge part of our team, and yeah, I mean, it's just cool to see him contributing, and it kind of seems like he's been scoring a bunch. Just I know it's crazy how kind of time goes, but yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like it all kind of evens out. When you're getting chances, they're gonna you're gonna be cold for a little bit, but then you're gonna be hot for a little bit as well.
Is it something new for guys like you? I mean, you're scoring 2 points a game in junior hockey. He went up and he was over a point a game in the AHL, and then to get in the NHL and then have a stretch where the puck's just not going in, it just seems like a different mental challenge.
Yeah, it's definitely different. Yeah, I mean, Stang's been. I mean, he hasn't really had any trouble scoring or putting up points at any level, for his whole life. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely different, and just kind of mentally, it's it's obviously you want to be contributing offensively and getting helping the team with goals and assists and stuff like that. But I think for him, I haven't you don't see any of it. He's been playing really good hockey, and even when he hadn't scored for a while, he was contributing in so many different ways, which I think that's the most important part.
Hey, Pete, any lineup changes?
No, same lineup.
Dodonoff last game, he seems to have a knack for knowing when to lean towards the offensive side of the ice.
Yeah.
How difficult is that in the playoffs when one mistake can kill you? And then, two, how important is it to what you want to do?
Yeah. Yeah, he fits with what we want to do. I've known the player for a long time, coached him when he first came into the league in Florida. And my first job, we basically were rookies together. And then he went back to Russia for a while, but he's just a really good pro, and he's built for the playoffs. He's exceptionally strong on his feet, low base of gravity, hangs on to pucks, and he does have great timing in finding holes, behind the defense. So, I'm a big fan. He's a big part of what we're doing here.
Philosophy, too, it just seems like it helps maybe keep the gap a little bit looser for their defensemen and make them aware that at any point in time something could happen.
Yeah, we're not going to get into technical part of what we're trying to do or things like that, but it's definitely a piece of what some of our forwards have the ability to do for sure. If you're going to be aggressive, then that's always got to be in the back of your mind.
Morning, Pete.
Hey, Pierre.
Bit of a gong show in some of the other series in terms of the shenanigans. This series has been very disciplined from both teams. Even with Jamie Benn's big hit in Game 2, it didn't create anything else. What's your sense of these two teams focused that way?
Yeah. I think our first series with Vegas was the same. I think, and again, it's hockey, right? It could turn tonight into a similar situation that you're seeing quickly, So I don't want to predict anything, but I think there's a real awareness here, with how closely the teams are matched, how good the special teams are on all the teams involved that are left. That if you're going to step over that line or get near that line, even you're risking, potentially the result of the game, to do it. So, I'm not sure if it's a Western Conference thing or, I guess the Edmonton-Vancouver series has been physical, but, I find the East, when I look at it, there's a little bit more of that than I feel there is in the West. I think the Western Conference, I don't think has as much as that.
Hey, Pete, you mentioned after Saturday night, you made adjustments following Game 1. Colorado would look at that and make their own adjustments probably tonight. Without getting into specifics, how much can you try to anticipate that?
Yeah, you can try and anticipate it. At the same time, there's you got to be careful not to overcoach at this time of year too. I think the players really want to play, and they're at the point now. Your game is at this point of the season, should be at the point where they're moving seamlessly around the ice. They're not overthinking situations. So there's a fine line there from a coaching perspective, and too much information, too many adjustments. We've got to be careful with that too.
And then as far as momentum goes, you said Saturday, it was pretty close to a perfect road performance as you could have. But how much can you look back to your own history of just being down 2-0 and coming back, against Vegas to kind of tell your guys, don't?
Oh, for sure. We're not. This series is a long way from over, and there's a lot of heavy lifting left to be done, before either team goes home. So, it's a good step. It's nice to be up early in a series. We haven't been. The Vegas series, we're obviously down 2-0. So, but we know the opponent. We know how good they are. We've got a tremendous amount of respect. We know they're going to throw everything at us tonight here like we would if we were in that situation and did against Vegas. So, we know what we're up against.
Hey, Pete, kind of a two-parter here. I just want to see how beneficial is it to bring AHL players up and just have them watch and learn just what it's like to be in playoff hockey. And then can you think of a good example of maybe someone over your career that you're like, wow, they came in and watched and learned and they just became a monster?
Yeah. It's a good question. You know, probably the most experience we had with that was in the bubble, because we had, you know, the extra big group. Everybody took extra players, and it was a pretty big group of extra players. And, you know, in that bubble, you know, I remember a young defenseman, Nick Hague, you know, who was a draft pick that had come up, that had played in the American League. And, you know, we got a chance to be around him every day. We were in that bubble for 60-plus days. You know, it felt like 600. But, you know, you got to really, because of the situation, you know, you don't, they practice in a normal situation like this. Those guys practice at a different time. You don't really get to cross paths a lot and spend a lot of time with them. In that bubble situation, we did. And, you know, so that's probably the best example I can have of it. I think it's invaluable for them to be around and to see it, and to see the preparation that goes into it, to see the commitment, you know, the ice bags that are out at the end of a night when a team wins or loses, you know, the resiliency of the group as a team moves through the playoffs. So that stuff's invaluable.